Hi everyone, welcome back. It's Laura at Hyperstamper. Today's antique junk journal it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. I've never seen this book before in my travels and my searches and my hunting, but this is called The Big Story Book, and it's actually a Charles Graham and Company publication out of the United States, Newark. And as you can see, it is very worn. This was read hundreds of times, and lots of children have enjoyed this over the past about 120 some odd years ago. This is very early 1900s, probably around 1902. So I stuffed it with every single page is a piece of authentic antique and vintage ephemera, and I've got lots of photographs and postcards and tickets and receipts and envelopes from days gone by and greeting cards. There's just so much in here. So let's take a little journey through here before I put it in my Etsy shop. And very special piece here. Let me tell you a little bit about this, because there was this beautiful little girl here holding the kitten, and there's another one down here. And of course, all these silk ribbons and other kinds of ribbons match the flowers and the dress. But I wanted to put a cat inside as well because of the little cats on the front. Now this piece here, I thought nothing of it because it was in an old scrapbook that I acquired full of greeting cards. And it's a shame because this arm here had an accordion, was playing the accordion here. So it's a little bit longer, but the arm over the past 100 years has fallen off. Because this is worth, I just looked it up and somebody just sold one on Etsy for $30 US, 42 Canadian. Isn't that crazy for a cat Valentine? Anyways, it's not worth that. Probably has a little bit of value, but unfortunately, but he lives here now in this cat cover journal. Here is a beautiful little envelope, also almost 100 years old, 1927. There was no letter in it when I received it. This is one of Paige's gifts, and this is one of Stacy's gifts, Maple Grove Dairy. So I put those two together because they were gifted to me by my journaling friends, and so they all live here now. And because this book was so old and so brittle, I couldn't make any way for the first page to be a turning page, even on a hinge. So I just cut it down and put it in the pocket, and I love it. It's very beautiful. Look at that, Charles E. Graham Company. And the little image of the girls here skating with their little muffs. They're just adorable, just adorable. And I feel like I have to tell you about every piece in case you own this journal someday. You should know that even this beautiful little textile under here, I don't want to fold that by accident. This little piece here has the original staple marks from this book, and this piece here is from the 1930s. It was behind a gorgeous needlepoint in a frame. Got 1970s Chantilly lace, so that's true vintage. That is from the 1850s. That's a steel engraving. And then this is another wonderful Melmar Foods coupon, number 25 there. And this is the spine of a very old book that I just could not save, Theatre de Cornell. Isn't that beautiful? French gold embossed spine there. And that's all mounted on a wonderful 1930s children's book page and a 1930s or 50s doily making page. And this is lovely, also very early, possibly late 1800s book here. And we've got a little boy's song there and country life reader page. I love these little pages. And then another sweet little boy looking for something under his table here. And this is a hand-typed research paper. I love that red typing inkment. They had the double-colored ribbon. And that is research from 1894. And then we've got some beautiful stamps there from 1939. That's just a page topper. And look at this wonderful plate here from the early 1900s of a hedgehog. And I very rarely come across hedgehogs because I do get requests for them now and again. So that was kind of fun. This is a 1970s vintage Pennsylvania souvenir napkin. This is fun and colorful. Sometimes we need to add little pops of color into these neutral toned antique pages. This is antique paper made into a little waterfall journaling piece, and that's all tucked into a 100-year-old Little Women's page. And that's the chapter 1 page, actually. More doilies, more children's book pages. And look at this fun 1949 photograph here, just after the war. There's Grandma and grandson, which kind of reminds me of me because I just had my first grandson last week. He's now 1 year old, or 1 week old. My goodness. It's very exciting. Here is a fun little vintage piece. Look at how pretty that is. And I just turned that into a little journaling spot here. Look how great that is. So lots of fun there. And in this pocket, I put in this 1925 Roses book, How to Grow Roses. Look at that stunning one, because there are lots of roses on the cover here. And I have some roses here. And then a little plate from early, actually it's a vintage plate of an early antique painting. 1936 Paris, France almanac page, and these are always so fascinating. You can use your Google camera to translate it. They're kind of funny, satirical, but look at that. How great is that artwork? Just really cool wartime, French wartime humor. And that is a vintage bridge playing learning card, a Raggedy Ann from the 50s there. And this is one of my great Fun with Dick and Jane pages. I wish I had a million of them. I do not, but this one's really cute. So there's Dick and Jane trying to find Sally and Puff the kitten. Look how great is that? I can work, said Dick. I can help Mother. I can work too. Look, Dick, this is for fun. I'm sorry, I just get such a kick out of them. I do. That is the interior spine of an antique book. There's another interior spine, or exterior spine with the gold embossing. Another 100-year-old children's workbook page, and just a little vintage Botanicals booklet here I made. There we go. And another great plate from the early 1900s depicting spring, the growth of new flowers in the spring. More Fun with Dick and Jane. Ooh, they see some eyes in the shadows. It's Cat and Her Kittens. And that again is to go with our little cats on the cover. Wildflowers of America vintage, and Birds of North America also vintage. That is a 1930s or 40s children's book page, vintage dictionary page, and another botanical page vintage. Look how pretty those are. Lovely. Another one of these. You'll see these a lot. I love them. I haven't aged them at all. This is how they came to me. A huge booklet of handwritten thesis papers. And then this is a great 1887 plate, the village church, and a little story about the importance of that in the communities of long ago. And then we've got a 1955 recipe page, rainbow snowball cake, frosty freezer desserts, and even some really cheesy photographs to go with them. Just awesome. And then look at this postcard. This is wonderful. I didn't forget. So I think it's Scottish. I didn't forget. And this lovely one is from, I Googled it, and it is between 1905 and 1910. Oh, wait, I think I see a date. Oh, it's 1908. Perfect. There you go. It was written in 1908, possibly published earlier. And then look at this sweet vintage card here. Congratulations. Oh, you know what? Maybe I am on a baby theme unconsciously. Subconsciously or unconsciously? Half my life is unconscious. Yeah, so you can journal on the inside of that as well. That's so cute. Another 1890s piece here, and just another cat petting her kitten here. And you can journal on the back of that. I put antique paper back there for extra space. Nice blank ledger page. That is vintage. 1930s flinch card. And another, this is from the 1800s. This is how a lady would write a letter. And these are more business letters for a lady to write. This is just a really great piece from an antique book, Roman numerals and counting. And this little piece here is about 100 years old, and those are just snap fasteners. And then back here is this great piece from 1940. Somebody from Illinois, they're asking for them to send a catalog to them about the furniture and footstools they sell. Going to Missouri. I really like those. They couldn't text or email and say, hey, can you send me a catalog? They had to send a postcard. This is a 1960s seeds page, seeds catalog, sorry, because farmers had to buy their seeds. And then this is a great early, about 1920 piece here. Obviously, that is the three bears having their porridge. And just a vintage page there to journal on, vintage dictionary page. There's the Seeds Company, 1920s. Look at these Quakers, just beautiful. Love it. Just a vintage playing card that you can upcycle. Enthusiasm. Pulled that out of an antique book. And that brings us to the end of this vintage 75, 77-year-old page. So there we go. I hope you love it as much as I loved making it. Hyperstamper.etsy.com. I hope you'll subscribe, leave me some comments, and come back soon. Bye for now.